Hello and welcome to the course of Advanced Strength of Material. In this course, so far we have studied about from starting from strain energy. We have completed first module, that is strain energy. In the second module, we have completed about shear stress in the beam, and in this module we are discussing about combination of bending and direct stress. Now in this lecture, in previous lectures, in this module what we have studied, we have seen about the concept of combination of bending stress and direct stress, and after knowing the concept, we have derived the equation, or we have derived the expression for maximum and minimum stress. That maximum and minimum stress value are nothing but the algebraic sum of the bending stress value and direct stress value. Why we are taking algebraic sum here? Because we have discussed this earlier also, because the line of action of the stress, or the area of the or the direction of those stress, that means your bending stress and direct stress, both the stress will be normal to your cross section. So whenever it is normal to cross section, that means the direction will be in same direction, that is outwards from the plane. So it may be in tensile direction, or in maybe in compressive direction may be positive or negative, but the thing is that both the cases, that stress is normal to the cross section. That means the stress, that means your direct stress and bending stress, both the stress will be coming out from the will be coming out or getting into the cross section only. So if we see the cross section, at the cross section we can see that the perpendicular lines, or the stress will be acting on perpendicular to the normal to the normal cross section area. So that is our plus point. So by using that, we have derived some expression, and in the last class we have seen the real life some of the real life use of this formulation, or this combination of bending and direct stress application. So in the last class we have seen about for offset clamp and C clamp, or offset link and C clamp. So now in this lecture we will be seeing a general concept or general solution method. First we will see the general solution method. After that we will be discussing about the concept, or the approach we are taking to solve the problem of bench vice. So the problem will be similar to the previous one. We have to find out maximum and minimum stresses. So that is the main problem, and after that in some cases the dimension should may be asked, but in most of the cases what will be asked, the maximum or minimum stress value. That value you should derive from the problem. So let's start with lecture objective. So for this lecture, our lecture objective is to get an insight of the concept using numerical problem first, and secondly to understand the way to solve the numerical. Since the last two lecture, what we are discussing, we are discussing about the problems, we are discussing about the numerical problem. So I want to deliver an approach by which you can very easily solve the numerical problem. So let's start. So first what I will do, I will give you some a general idea by which you can solve for any machine component. It may be drill frame, it may be bench vise, it may be C clamp, it may be offset link. Whenever there is a rectangular link is there at that time, and you can confirm that there is eccentric loading is acting, at that time you can easily solve the problem by following these steps that we are going to discuss. So let's start. So start the steps for solving. So first what we need to identify, first we will identify the section, that means the cross section should be identified. See here, for the case of drill machine frame, the drill machine frame, in the drill machine frame, the drill machine frame is nothing but a column, but it is a column. For drill machine frame I am saying it is a column, but the load is acting here, this is your load, and this column, this load is acting, your area of cross section, this is your cross sectional area B and T, this is your cross section area, and the axis is somewhere in between this. So this is your axis, and so that's why what we can say, this value is nothing but eccentricity. So here in the drill bit, eccentric load can be seen, and this is your B, and this is T. So first we have to identify the cross section. Whenever we can identify the cross section, at that time we can take the value of the cross section area, that is B cross T, that is breadth into thickness or breadth into width, that will be in millimeter square. Then what we need to check? We need to check if the force is eccentric or not. So as I am saying about drill machine frame, the drill machine frame is an example of the eccentric loading case. But in general, if the load is acting, in this frame at the axis, then the loading will be axial loading. So whenever there is axial loading, at that time what we will do, for axial loading we just directly state that there is only direct stress present, and the value of the direct stress will be nothing but simply P by A, that is load per unit area. That is our answer. If here, as per the case, as per the real life case, the loading is eccentric, that means the load P won't be acting in the axis, won't be, the line of action of the load is not coinciding with the axis. So that's why what is acting here, eccentric loading, the loading is eccentric, so the load is eccentric. So that's why what is, if the load is eccentric, what will be our conclusion? Our conclusion will be they are direct and they are both, and both bending and direct stress will be acting together. If both the direct and bending stress will be acting together, at that time what will be seen? At that time the combination of effect of both the stress can be seen as maximum or minimum value. So from that we can get the idea that here in this case we can see there is eccentric loading. So that means the combination of bending and direct stress formula will be applicable here. So after getting that idea, we have to find out two values. First one is moment of inertia value. That moment of inertia value for rectangular cross section will nothing but T B cube by 12. So if we check like this, with this axis, if this is B and this is T, then with respect to this axis, what will be the moment of inertia? This moment of inertia value will be T B cube by 12, and this value is derived earlier, and we have discussed this value very much. So I think how this value can, that is not important to discuss here. So after getting the I value, what we need to do? We need to find out the section modulus value, that is Z. And Z, what we know about Z? Z is nothing but moment of inertia by distance And here for this type of case, what will be the distance? For this type of the case, distance will be the distance from neutral axis to our topmost fiber or outermost layer. So from neutral axis to outermost layer, the distance will be b by 2. So that's why t b cube by 12 divided by b by 2, that means multiplied by 2 by b, we can write and we can get the value as t b square by 6. So this value is handy. These two value we can easily find out. After getting these two value, we have to find out direct and bending stress. For calculating the direct stress, the formula will be same, and that formula will be P by A. Sigma D is equal to P by A. That means load per unit area. So that P by A, Newton per millimeter square. Now for the bending stress value, what we need to do? We need to use the equation of section modulus, or in some case we can use the equation for bending. So as per our knowledge of the concept in the bending and shear stress, so in the bending stress chapter, that is your second module, at that time what we find? We find that our that section modulus equation is nothing but the modification of the bending equation, because the bending equation states that m by I is equal to sigma by y. So if I divide that y in this side, that sigma would be equal to my by I, and that y by I by y is nothing but z. So that value we can very easily calculate. So from here we can say that sigma b value, sigma b or bending stress value is nothing but m by z, and m is equal to what? M is equal to load into eccentricity, because eccentric loading is there, so bending moment will be nothing but the load and the distance from the axis, that is our eccentricity. So distance of the line of action of the force from the neutral axis or from the axis, so that is our moment. So moment is P cross E, and as we have found the value of Z from the previous slide, see here we can very easily find out the value Z, that is TB square by 6. We can put this value and we can put the value of E, P and Z. By that we can very easily get the value of sigma B. So by now we have handy two values, that is direct stress value and bending stress value. Now in this case, in case of eccentric loading, as we conclude earlier, that in case of eccentric loading, the stress or the combination of these two load, bending stress and bending stress, the combination, the total stress or resultant stress will be the combination of bending stress and direct stress. So the maximum stress and minimum stress, that is what we have to find out. So the combination of these two stress will give rise to the maximum stress, and the value of the maximum stress will be sigma D plus sigma B. As we are discussing earlier, just do one thing. After understanding these steps for solving, go through your previous PPTs and find out if we are following the same routine exercise for all those problems or not. So if you can understand that we are following the same exercise for solving each and every problem in this chapter, then you can very easily solve any problem that is given to you from this chapter. So I would request you to take up any problem from your book, that is, I guess you will be given some R.K. Bansal book. So there some problems are given. So try to solve any problem. I guess the simple problems can be very easily solved. So as I am saying, the maximum value or the maximum stress is sigma max is equal to sigma D or the sigma direct plus sigma bending. So stress, maximum stress will be is equal to stress in the direct stress plus bending stress, and the combined result will give the maximum value. And the for minimum value, that will be sigma d plus minus sigma b. So that will be our minimum value. And for the stress distribution diagram, just just try to understand one thing for stress distribution diagram. See, if this is your axis and this is the cross section. Now if you are saying that load is acting here, that means that is in this side of the axis. That means the maximum stress will be here in this side, and the minimum stress will be opposite side. This will be your minimum stress, and the stress distribution diagram will be like this. Here it will be sigma max, and here it will be sigma mean. Got it? So by this we can very easily draw the stress distribution diagram. So if I am saying, if the load is eccentric to this side, if the load is eccentric to this side, that time what will happen? The maximum stress will be in this side. Whenever in which side, what is important, which side the load is acting. So this will be your sigma max, and this will be your mean or sigma mean value. Now let's say for an example of bench bias. So what is the question? This type of the question may come into your problem. That is, find the maximum stress on the section AB. So you have to find out the maximum stress on the section AB of the clamp when the pressure 2500 Newton is exerted by the screw, and the section is rectangular. See here, section is rectangular with 2.5 semi by 1 semi. So say here what we need to do. We need to first our first step is identify the section. So the section is rectangular section with 2.5 into 1 semi. So let's do that this problem. So first, what will be our step 1? As per step 1 we can say, area is nothing but 2.5 centimeter square. Area is nothing but 2.5 into 1. This is our area of cross section. Now secondly, now we can see that we have to find out the maximum stress here. So the axis will be this, and the load is acting here. In between means load is acting here. So that means the load is eccentric, and the eccentricity is nothing but 10 centimeter. This is our eccentricity. 10 centimeter is our eccentricity. Easily we can find out. Now combination of bending and direct stress will be acting here. So the maximum stress value will be nothing but addition of or summation of maximum and summation of your direct and bending stress. So that value will be, so see here, the area of the section is given. Area of the section is this much. Area of the section is this much. And the bending moment, what will be the bending moment? M into E, that is 10 centimeter. In meter we can find out 250 nanometer. And the direct tensile stress value, then the direct tensile stress value is found out. See here, direct tensile stress, that is 10 meganewton per meter square, and the second moment, that is I. I is also found out this. So the maximum bending stress due to the couple, due to 250 nanometer is equal to your bending stress is the bending stress value is nothing but m by Iy. So m by z, and that value can be very easily find out, and that value is that value is 240 millinewton per meter square. So the maximum stress, maximum tensile stress will be 240 into 240 plus 10, that is 10 is our direct stress value and 240 is our bending stress value. So 240 plus 10 is your maximum tensile stress, and the minimum compressive stress will be 240 minus 10, that is 230 millinewton per meter square. So that is your answer. So thank you. Hope you understand this lecture and enjoy this lecture. And if you have any problem, you may ask in the live class. Thank you.